which is why I'm deeply skeptical about those who think we can get out of the present crisis by moving back, more communitarianism, more pre-modern forms. Forget about that.
So I'm running out of ideas for what your model for society is, because it seems to me you are a classic case of a thinker, an academic who has thrived in a liberal environment. I mean, your writings are fascinating, not just because you deal with political theory, you also deal with culture and cultural theory, and you love movies. You've written The Pervert's Guide to Modern Cinema, for God's sake. I mean, you're a man who represents the very best of liberalism, an individual free thinker, free to think whatever the hell he likes.
Okay, my answer would be, and you will not like it here, a Hegelian one. It would be that precisely if we want, in the face of all these threats, save what is the best in liberalism, we must move further. We will have to move further. Otherwise, we are slowly approaching a new apartheid.
But when you say further, you mean further to a new form of communism. And I say, what is there in communism that allows you to believe that you would ever, under a communist system, which seems to me to be anti-individualistic, how would you ever be able to guarantee the freedoms of thought, freedoms of expression, freedoms of the press, freedom to vote, that you hold so dear?
I will put it in this way. It all depends, my God, on what you mean by communism. I'm not playing the simple game of, oh, the communist idea is good, it was just badly realized. It's absolutely clear to me that if you really critically analyze the experience of the 20th century communism, you see that it's not just, oh, Stalin was the bad guy and so on. It's already in Marx and so on, at least the roots of it. But again...
The roots of going wrong.
The roots of going wrong. Yeah.
So you're saying to me, even going back to Marx and the origins of communist thought, there is not one single exemplar of a thinker or a doer, a political communist or an abstract thinking communist, who you say represents the ideal. Why should I believe this ideal exists?
No, it's a little bit more complex here. I claim that all of them were deeply contradictory, in the sense that they were going after something, but the way they formulated it and so on. Now you will say the obvious question, but why to stick to it when it was so obviously wrong? We don't talk enough about the following thing. Again, I see problems today which, and this is all that is, for me, communism. It's not we will have a new Gulag Central Committee or whatever. It means a very precise thing. We will have to invent, already ecological crisis makes this clear. And I'm even, to go, sorry, to the end, I'm even well aware that if I even talk, and I don't talk a lot, about revolution, we should totally forget, you know, this kind of old-fashioned barricade.
Well, in the past you've said, and again I'm quoting a quote from yourself, Robespierre, Lenin, I'm a fan of all of them, you've said.
I am. In their own time,
Robespierre and the terror, Lenin and the origins of the Soviet terror?
No, now we would have to go into detailed analysis, but listen, Robespierre, let's be serious. Look at the statistics. How many people were guillotined before and after the so-called Jacobin terror? And you will see in 2-3 weeks after the Thermidor, more people were guillotined than under
I'm struggling now, because you say it is this new brand of communism, which you've yet to define, which is the only philosophy that can take on the existential threats that we face. And you've mentioned the ecological threat.
Let me define it very briefly. Now I will not get lost. It's something like we need to invent some new form of collective activity, which will be neither market nor state bureaucracy. If anything, I'm the first to concede that, for example, for ecology, communist countries did even much worse than capitalism. But capitalism also doesn't work.
Well, you say we need to do this. Am I right in thinking that actually a big part of you, Mr. Zizek, doesn't believe it's possible? I mean, you're about to publish a book, I believe, which is entitled in English, Living in the End Times.
Yes, I think we are approaching some kind of, not in this 2012 sense, but in the sense of we are approaching a certain limit. Nothing catastrophic about it. Maybe it's the chance of a new beginning. Ecologically, genetically, don't underestimate this. What goes on now, and I'm fascinated with biogenetics, brain sciences. My God, the barrier between inside and outside, how I experience myself reality, is getting broken. Machines can also elementarily read our thoughts. We can control our behavior properties. We will have to rethink everything.
And what I'm getting from you is a message that democracy, which is in the end one of the pillars of mainstream liberal thought, democracy, you think, won't deliver. won't save us
It
or
all
offer us
depends
salvation?
what do you mean by democracy. I don't think that the standard multi-party democracy that we have will deliver. But let me add another thing that people don't listen to me. Let's be brutally frank. How does democracy today effectively function? Let me tell you something brutal. I don't think people really want to decide. People want the appearance of deciding, but effectively they want to be told what is right, what to decide.
If I may say so, this is where your philosophy becomes rather arrogant. I mean, you've dismissed in the past most people as boring and stupid.
Yeah.
I don't think you believe that most people deserve the right to have a real say.
I'm even more pessimist than you think here, than you think, because I think that, how should I put it, it's not that the majority is confused and so on and don't know, but that there is an elite which knows. This we have to renounce. This is one of the things of the 20th century communism that we have to reject. This idea of, you know, we communists are the privileged ones who see where the train of history is running.
Well, there's never been any form of human society without elites, has there?
No, but we are not talking here just about scientific and so on elites. We are talking about a social elite in a precise sense of an elite which justifies itself as we know where history is going.
And if that is the reality, and we're almost out of time, and you believe that the end times are approaching, we're doomed.
What?
Are we doomed?
Maybe we are not, maybe we are. I'm much more of a pessimist here. I don't have easy solutions. I'm not a communist in the sense of, oh, the future is bright. When you tell me, oh, but there is the train approaching us in the tunnel that we see the end of the light in the tunnel, I say, yes, maybe another train is approaching us. No, I'm not a cheap optimist here.
Well,
look, that's all what I wanted to say. Don't you agree that this is needed today? Just let's not take it too easily. There are new explosive problems. We have to keep open the possibility that we don't have the answers.
And we have to take the possibility we've run out of time. Slavoj Zizek, I want to thank you very much for being on Hard Talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you for tolerating me and my excesses.